a need for a savior. So once the threat feels real enough, governments or even global coalitions could step in as these heroes. They might call for increased defense budgets. Maybe all the governments in this area need to unite into one big government, maybe a global response team, and I say that with quotes around it, to handle this threat. So this could lead to giant power shifts and more control in fewer hands is kind of maybe the goal of that. And this, you could look this up. There was even a plan to stage a fake kind of alien invasion. This is on record on paper that there was a full government plan to make a fake alien invasion. But what could be next? What could be down the pipe?
Yep, facts. That's fucking facts. Alien invasion. It's fucking coming.
Line from right now. If we follow this theory to the logical next step here, here's what might happen. First would be escalating UFO reports. Expect a lot more sightings, near misses with airplanes, mysterious objects interfering with infrastructure like power grids or airports. It's going to feel real and urgent. The next would be a media blitz that would come after that. So mainstream media will amplify the story. They're going to interview pilots. They're going to release grainy videos and have experts explain these things that are maybe defying physics. The goal, potentially, and I say all of this as a potential hypothetical, to make everybody believe this is a huge deal. Next would be a global event, and this could be something absolutely wild, like some kind of coordinated UFO appearance, maybe a simulated attack, or even some claim that we've made contact. And it doesn't have to be real, it just has to be believable enough. And of course, then we have a solution. So after the chaos, governments might roll out solutions like new defense initiatives, new military spending, government coalitions, governments kind of coming together, expanded surveillance maybe, and calls for like some international cooperation. All right, so why should we care? Even if all this theory sounds way the hell out there, the technologies exist to make all of it plausible. So holograms, drones, AI, deep fakes are advanced enough to fool large populations. And historically, going back to the year 1 AD, governments have shown that they're not above manipulating fear to get what they want. So now we get to what do we do? What the hell do we do about this? Number one, stay frickin' critical. Do not take everything at face value. Always question why some stories are getting so much attention, and most importantly, who benefits from that story. And educate yourself. You need to look into historical precedents, maybe current technology. You could just use ChatGPT for a lot of this, and some government strategy. So the more you know, the harder it is for you to be manipulated. Focus on reality. So, of course, this is nothing but conjecture. I'm just sitting here at my house. We've got a bonfire going on outside. We're about to go sit outside for a little while and just enjoy nature around a fire like our ancestors did. And I don't know anything. I don't know anything more than you do about what's going on. So the sky's the limit for this conjecture, but maybe it's theatrics. But remember that not every light in the sky is some alien. Stay very grounded in what's provable, and know that getting angry at things that are outside of your control is stupid. It's just like drinking acid. So here's how to spot a psyop. And I've never said this publicly before, but here is the step-by-step formula that will enable you to spot a psychological operation. Separating manipulation from genuine news is like kind of playing detective. So here's a few steps that will put you on top of everybody for being able to spot a psyop. Number one is analyze the source. Is the outlet known for credible reporting, or do they thrive in like sensationalism? So established outlets like Reuters, sometimes Wall Street Journal, they report facts first, and others are way into drama. And PSYOPs, psychological operations, extremely, very much rely on sensational headlines. If you see sensational headlines, you need to get the hell out. This is on all media, on both sides of the aisle. There is no aisle if you hadn't got that figured out already. So next is who owns that platform that you're looking at. So media ties with pharmaceutical companies, political entities, defense contractors. I dare you to look that one up tonight. And so step 2, question the timing. So you want to ask yourself, does the story that I'm looking at right now appear during a major crisis or scandal or upcoming election maybe? PSYOPs will very often distract from bigger issues like UFO footage released during major policy debates or global unrest. Huge red flag. Next is to follow the narrative. And I promise you don't have to go do 5 hours of research to do it. You just ask yourself, are multiple outlets, this one question right here, are multiple outlets parroting the exact same language? If you see that shit going down, you need to be very terrified that something's going into your brain that doesn't belong there. So PSYOPs use coordinated messaging to reinforce a narrative. So look for phrases that feel copy and pasted, like unprecedented threat or undeniable evidence. Those little phrases, you're going to hear them. You will start to hear these everywhere you look. And the moment you hear copy paste phrases, that is a PSYOP. So step 4, look for emotional triggers. So all PSYOPs thrive on pushing your buttons. Think about the FATE model, if you know what that is: focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. So this is fear, anger, amazement. So if a story feels like it's designed, and I say the word designed with bold, underline, italics, if a story feels like it's designed to make you react emotionally, get out as fast, but don't even finish the story. Ask ChatGPT about what you're trying to figure out. So stories about UFOs that emphasize unknown threats without any evidence, you should be pretty careful about that. And then just check the evidence. You ask yourself the question, are they providing evidence like document data, eyewitness accounts, or relying on anonymous sources and some vague claims? So if you ever hear the words, and I want you to burn these words into your head. I've never told anyone in my life how to expose a PSYOP. But if you do all of these at once, you will never be manipulated. This one question. With that stuff going on, I need to ask, is this going to expand government control or justify new laws? That one question. Will what I'm seeing expand government control or justify new laws? Okay. Analyze coverage patterns. So PSYOPs all the time dominate the news cycle and they drown out other stories. Real news coexists with other reports. Let me say that again. Real news coexists with other reports about stuff that's going on. If one topic is everywhere, while major global events get completely ignored, you're in the middle of a PSYOP. Next is look for follow-ups. This is it. Real news evolves with new updates. Real news evolves with new updates. PSYOPs fade once they've served their purpose. I'll say that one more time if you're taking notes. PSYOPs will fade away when they have served their purpose. So as an example, if you see some inflated, sensational story that just vanishes after a week with no follow-up, that is called a distraction. It's called a distraction. So finally is trust your gut. Does it feel scripted? Sometimes things feel just off, and I want you to trust your instincts. Back them up with research if you want to. So what can you do? Like, what the hell can you do about all this? The most important thing that I could give you, and I had no idea that I was going to really be talking about any of this, but the most important thing is cultivate critical thinking skills. Learn to spot the propaganda. Go back through what I just talked about, the recording. Chris is going to make this recording available to everyone. I don't know how or where. We'll make it available to everybody here. I don't care if you're an NCII plus or whatever. Look for patterns in how the media or the government communicates about things, maybe UFOs. Do they spot, or do they focus on fear? Or are they offering solutions that involve giving up freedom or increasing government power? So try to diversify all the places that you're getting news from. Try to block every single news provider that you can possibly think of and use AI to get your news. And tell AI to be concise and apolitical in its answer. It's the best way to do it. So I want you to memorize these 3 questions if you're taking notes. Number 1, who benefits from this narrative? Number 2, what evidence is being shown and is it verifiable? Number 3, why now? Why is it happening right now? Next is strengthen your psychological state. Recognize these fear tactics. Fear is the number 1 easiest way to control human beings. Governments use all kinds of stuff as a way to unite people under a single narrative. So stay calm. Question why you're being told to be afraid. Question why you're being told to be afraid. And this sounds like some bullshit trope you might see on some yoga instructor video, but mindfulness is one of the most powerful practices that you can start to adopt today. There's a million videos on it on YouTube. I'm not going to go into how to do it today. It's one of the most powerful things you can do just in general for your success in your life, but it's going to help insulate you from some of this stuff. So just a few other ones. Stay connected to your community, not your online community. Get to know who your neighbors are. Get to know your neighbors. Walk across the street, know everybody that lives around you. Go introduce yourself if you haven't already. Your neighbors might be more important than you realize here if something goes down. Build self-reliance as much as you possibly can. Stay grounded in reality. Always remind yourself that there's a lot of stuff going on, and through all this shit we've been through as a species, as a country, as a globe, things usually just turn out okay in the end. It's not that big of a deal. And finally, just get your mindset protected. The more people panic, the more easily governments can sweeping control the nation. So practice a little bit of skepticism and help other people to stay calm. That's your job. If you remember, you are the one studying authority and confidence and leadership. That's your job to help people stay calm. So stay educated, but just balanced. So research topic, like if you want to learn about this stuff, go Google Project Bluebeam. It may keep you up all night, but you can take a look at that. So fear-driven conspiracies can be just as manipulative.
Yep, that's what we're there. So if you do see an alien invasion, hopefully it happens January 20th, at the Capitol. Because I'll be there, trolling. So just say, fuck it, dog. Time to get shit-faced again. Man.
As a government conspiracy. Finally, and I wasn't going to say this because it sounds weird, but if there's a power outage, you have zero money if you don't have cash. So you may want to keep some cash on hand if you can afford it. So always think of, like, when governments propose solutions, ask, do they actually address the issue? What freedoms or powers are being taken in exchange? And is the solution long-term or a convenient grab for power. So what if it is aliens? What the hell are we going to do? Let's entertain the wild card here. What if it's aliens? Maybe we're finally ready to handle it, kind of. Maybe aliens showed up in the 50s or 60s. They're like, oh, these people have lost their minds, but maybe we're ready now. Maybe we've hit some critical point in history. We're at this weird crossroads with climate change. We're exploring Mars finally. Aliens are watching. Maybe they're coming. Maybe we're pinging the radar. We got all this tech and stuff.
Yep. Hey, I don't give a shit what goes down. Just keep the shipment of delicious malt liquor to my stores. Day in, day out. Video in, video out. Me. None of your fucking phone, dwarf.